Think that
Yes, I was
that
saying
these practices were not nice and not good.
definitely
Please go a
yes.
bit. I mean, you experienced these kind of practices. You told me,
Yes,
right?
some I used to do.
Some.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
you tell us a bit in detail.
And in detail, I'm now analyzing, despite the coming of Christianity, now we had reached on the chapter of what could be, what were the weaknesses of the traditional worship of Africans before the coming in of Christianity, the white fathers and whatsoever, before they came in, before they came into the continent of Africa. Now, also Africans had their God. And this was supernatural. That whatever you could go, and I think I had ever told you this, whatever you could go and ask, then you could get it. It was as powerful as that. Those were the traditional norms. However, it was on a disadvantage that these small gods, who are which are put in the calabashes, the supernatural power they are praying for too, they were extremely demanding. How were they demanding? That's why I said without Christianity, actually Africa in general could really be in problems. Why? These spiritual beings, they were too demanding. Human beings, animals, among others, as sacrifices. And now, if you have entered into a covenant with these things, let's say they have demanded for you to slaughter for them a cow, for example, failure to appease them by shedding blood to the cow or to the and whatever they have demanded for, then it was really terrible, and a disaster could just happen to the family, to the person who is in the head of that kind of a homestead. Remember, by then we used it to stay in a homestead in as a group, but this homestead had a specific gathering point where the players could be conducted from. So, and now I summarize that, seal it with that despite the traditional ways on how the Africans used it to be, it was bad on the other side that these spiritual beings were over demanding animals, people, among others.
Have you experienced that yourself
I
when you were
have
a child?
no, 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 no. But I have been narrated. But however, I have seen several cases, uh, even currently, where these things, provided you have entered into a covenant with them, they can really ruin your life. I will not.
Ruin your life.
Yes, completely. They can make you poor and poorer and poorer because you see, there are these the witch doctors, they have their powers. For example, let's say if there is someone who has been possessed, you can even bring people who. And that's why I told you that these people who go to church to pray, if you are not having that complete faith, when you are not having anything, let me bring it in. How can I time it? Let me say, if you are not well purified in the heart, that you can speak and God passes through you and perform a miracle like what usually to happen, then these demonic things, the demonic forces, you cannot do anything. So I see a certain school just around here, and this is evident everywhere. Possession comes, these spirits comes and attacks students. They cannot walk. So the gentleman goes on bringing spiritual leaders. They come play Monday to Monday, but at the moment they start the prayers, the moment these things continue becoming worse. Meaning that after him failing, that now Christianity has refused, results on listening to their demands. That's slaughtering chicken, goats. Now it goes in like that. They begin with the chicken. They will say, no, we want a goat. No, we want a cow. No, now we want a human being. Then that comes to really
And
to
people are willing to sacrifice that child or that human being.
definitely,
Definitely.
definitely yes. You know, some are not patient. I see. According to me, life is all about being patient and being focused, so that you can become successful. If you want to rush, and I cannot dream of buying an aeroplane at this age. No, it is no way. I have to organize, prepare step by step by step. Then I reach a certain direction, provided if I remain morally upright. dependable among others. But people are not patient. They want to get everything at the same time.
But
That's
what,
what.
how deep do you, the impact of these magic spells? How do you see it in today, 2022? Is it still very powerful, or is it like?
This is despite of the 22 currently, provided you have entered into an agreement, into a covenant with them. You have seen the terms and the conditions, and you have accepted. Up to now, I believe people do still sacrifice people for riches. People do still sacrifice. You see, yeah, the other time we had Zita last year, but one where women were being slaughtered like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
nothing around just in the neighborhood.
Yes.
What was the essence of this? People are doing this not just for fun, not only to scare away people, but they are doing it because of the rate of immorality and the desire to have a lot to accumulate wealth before the time reaches.
So when you look back, I mean, I'm sure, have you been able to talk to your grandfather,
Yes.
grandmother about things like this?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's why I'm able to recall most of the stories I may narrate. And you, when you look at my age, you wonder how possible could I get the information?
Yep.
Because this seems to be actually this. I didn't say I received the first-hand information from my own people.
I'm wondering if I would believe like this and live like this, my society.
Mm,
I think it would create complete mistrust
yes.
into the other person. How do you see that? I mean, you cannot trust your neighbor if there's always the danger in the background that that guy might. You,
Definitely. I actually that's a very good point you have just brought in. If you, let's say, you hear that your neighbor is actually dealing in witchcraft, and you are very aware that they might demand, because you don't know they just say we want that one, and since he has got that attachment, sometimes he has no option. That's why we have the instance of the high rate of kidnapping at sometimes. You hear a child ABCD has been kidnapped. This one has disappeared completely. So, as far as on the society part of it, it is a little bit panicky, brings a lot of mistrust. You look at your neighbor as an enemy, and that could even lead to migrations. You feel like you are no longer comfortable in a certain society, in a
Hmm,
certain area, then you just have to go away.
yep.
Mm.
So according to you now, yeah, how old?
I'm now 23
And
years.
you went through a lot of trials in your life.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So according to you,
Mm.
you said humanity is lacking. When you look back in your youth and you were very hard
Yes,
working, you earned very little.
yes,
You were
yes,
also
yes.
mistreated, you told me,
Definitely, that was the most terrible experience I would ever narrate to anybody who would watch this. And
by Ugandans, by fellow Africans.
definitely, yes. Because I told you, it all starts with humanity, the principles of Ubuntu. We call it Ubuntu because we call it Ubuntu. Let me explain you that term so that
No,
you
no, we
understand.
know, I know it.
So, if you are lacking the principles of Ubuntu, humanness, then the whole society is in a mess. I told you we were working extremely hard. We were paid completely little. It
And you
was
slept on mats in some
it was not on mats. We had a certain kind of a building. There was no mat. There was nothing. What we would do, we would go to the banana plantation, cut these dry banana leaves, put them on the ground, sleep. And now it could be worse if it had rained, because the banana leaves you use it to sleep. The following day you can't sleep them on. You are going to get freeze and whatsoever. You are going to be in a maze. It was the worst experience I received, but by God's grace, I imagined out. But most of the people even died to know that the situation was really
So
bad.
according to you, because when I read on the internet, many Africans are blaming white people for their misery. What would you answer to that? Would you agree? Would you disagree? Would you look at it from different perspectives? The influence of, I'm not talking about Chinese culture, they're constructing things for you, but they don't have an impact on a religious, moral side. That was mainly from Europe. So, what would the answer be?
That's how the Europeans have done what?
Yeah, how would you describe
Mm.
the impact of colonialism? We are not talking about slavery, yeah, that is a
Yes,
different topic.
yes, yes, yes.
But how do you see, in a retrospective, the impact of white culture, European culture on Africa?
Now, when we read history, when we appreciate history from colonialism, when actually before even colonialism, let me begin with the scramble and partition of Africa. That was around 1800 and 1896, around there, during the Berlin Conference. Don't know if the year is the right thing. So when these Europeans sat down and they said, no, we are not going to start colliding in Africa. Let us have the Berlin Conference. Let us enter into Africa and share Africa. Actually, we usually say they shared Africa like a wedding cake. In England take this part, this take this part,
Yeah.
like that. How, the way they petitioned Africa among themselves.
Sorry to make a comment here. When
Mm,
I read things like this,
mm,
I'm always puzzled about the power these people had.
mm.
It's hard to understand for me. The power to reign over a full continent, a whole continent, and divide it. They must have been, I don't know, unbelievable powerful. Or how
Not,
do you see?
no, it was actually when I read history, these people were a little, actually not a little bit, they were ahead of us. In times of looking at, you say you just look at something instantly, and immediately, if you are smart, you realize there is a problem or there is no a problem. Why am I bringing it in that perspective? These Europeans were extraordinary and have been extraordinarily smart. Only that now, I don't know what. Actually, I'm a little bit, I'm not a little bit disappointed, but I'm disappointed with what is happening as far as the perspective on how I talk the Europeans are. These are the people who conquered
The whole
the
world.
whole
Yep.
world, meaning that they were extremely strategic, they were intelligent, among other things.
Yes, yes.
So them sitting down and saying that no, if we all rush into this, because the African continent is is different. Let's say what is in Uganda is not what is in Kenya. So every country has an advantage. For example, the reason as why you see very many white settlers in Kenya. Kenya Highlands had the best climate that could favor human settlement. And some now were attracted by Lake Victoria, the source of the Nile, among others. That's why they had interest in Uganda. So now we have asked them a very good question. But how do I see the impact of colonialism to the African
Yes,
society?
please.
That's a
Yes.
very good question. Now it is in two-way traffic.
Eventually, more than two.
Let me bring it in like it was of a great advantage and somehow a disadvantage.
Yes.
How? Let me begin with the disadvantage part of it.
Okay.
When the colonialists came in, the traditional Africans on how the Africans used to behave. We had we had our way of worship, of which it was banned on the other side, but it was put on a strict rule. If you were supposed to do something, then like, let me say it was not as tough as Sharia law, but it was also in a strict corner that if you were entitled to do something, then you had to do it. Not only that, that kind of the of togetherness that was there. When these colonialists came in, actually, before let me first give you the brief history on the coming of colonialists who came to colonize Africa. They came in a hidden perspective. These were the real, the real, it was a real Christianity, but they came in a hidden part of colonialists. So when they came, they divided the Africans along religious lines.
Also, yeah.
Protestants,
Yep.
this and this. And this created a lot of mess.
Yep. Definitely.
It created a lot of mess. And it has really affected up to now. Up to now, it has really affected our people,
Yep.
or as far as the Africans are concerned.
Yep.
Only, let me leave with
Not
this.
only the Africans, even the Europeans. I mean, they were killing each other in the millions for religion.
Terrible,
Yeah.
terrible. So
Very terrible.
if they had organized a specific religion, that would be the best they would have done. But a fact that people started looking at themselves as enemies, they started fighting. Look at this. I'm sorry to mention about this, my friends, the Muslims here. Terrible, really. The rate at which they fight and they kill each other, really bad. Very, very bad. But I don't know. I don't want to attack
So that is the negative. What else?
the negative part of it. So to me, when I put them on a weighing scale, I see their coming was like liberation. Their coming was like liberation. Some people, we had a debate where they say they're coming, they took the resources. People here have no use of how to make these things. Like say, like nothing is made here.
No,
Not
absolutely
a
nothing.
glass, not nothing completely, because the people are not principled. People, I don't know how you can term this one. So when someone says they came, took gold, took whatsoever, we had no capacity to make jewels. We had no capacity to make
You
cars.
made some jewels. You made some. I saw them.
But really not on the same
No, no,
standard.
no, 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 no.
Like if you make something, Mr. Andreas, and this something is not going to compete on the world market,
Yes.
that's why even our currency is terrible. So they are coming. Let me say they are coming was a liberation to the Africa to the African society. Look at what was happening to my friends in Uganda. The kings, they were terrible.
Tell us more about the king here.
The kings, the way they treated themselves, the way ruthless.
Yeah.
Let me use that word. Completely ruthless. Nothing like humanity.
Give us some examples.
We have the Kabaka Mwanga. Really did a lot of terrible things.
Like what?
Killing people. You see, let's say is going to a certain function, and he's there, but there is a specific person where he wants to split. You just there's someone just there opening the mouth, and oh god. And another thing, he wants to walk. People lie down. The man has to just walk on their terrible, walking on their backs. Really not nice.
So he had people as spitting pots or what?
Yeah, exactly. It was terrible stories as far as the kingship is concerned.
Make some more stories. Not too many, but because I think people, what I've realized when I read comments on YouTube or other internet websites, I think people, which I understand, people are trying to pamper and whitewash African culture. I, as you know, I spoke to many people. Winnie's father, Winnie, even people from Congo. I spoke, and all of them, not one person has a good story about their leaders, their clan chiefs, their kings. Not one had a good story. That it's a reign of mercy, of gentleness. No, it was.
Nothing.
So make us just 2, 3 more examples.
Now this is evident. Look at what happened when these Christian leaders, they just failed to take the orders of Kabaka Mwanga. Look at what,
Homosexuals.
not only even homosexuals, they let me bring it, just this is evident worldwide, the Namugongo thing.
Yep.
The Uganda matters, terrible. The man just burnt all of them into ashes.
Yeah, but this also happened in Rome. Huh?
But in Rome, they did this in the Bible.
Thousands died.
Burnt. So our leaders, traditional leaders, have not been nice. Have not been nice. Not just like maybe today is a little bit of a change.
Yeah, definitely.
Today there is a massive change. There is there is a caring for one another, not just someone who comes. I have not seen it now. So far, I have not seen it now as it was in the traditional African before the Christianity was appreciated.
So you see it in in a general perspective, you see it as a liberation from the old bondages,
Yeah, from many
African
things. Yes,
traditions.
from one, I see it colonialism or the coming of these Europeans. I see them as now I don't know because let's say we could uh, you remember we had what we call the informal part of education where we are taught how to dig, how to do hunting, how to do housework, to the side of the ladies, among others. So, but these people comes in with the idea of writing, reading, analyzing, thinking, and that's how you can be able to control and become ambitious and do great things, not just digging from morning to evening, especially to someone who has seen. Remember, before I came to around here to stay with you, my general perspective was in a limited cap. It was in a limited, let me say, I was not diverse. Yes, I had ambitions, but my ambitions were not as much as I started realizing the real life and how should life be when I started looking at how things are. I don't know if you are trying to get what I'm trying to express it. So when these people comes in, the colonialists and the Europeans, they opened the eyes of the Africans to actually see that hey, things should be like this, and that's why it was not that their influence made me to hate what we were living in, but you also see it that indeed this should be the right direction.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, that's why I brought it in the perspective that their coming was a liberation, opening the eyes of the Africans to see that actually we could be better than how we are. We could live in a harmonized environment.
According to you, what is the biggest issues we are facing these days in Uganda? The biggest issues. What is the big? According to you,
The
what do you say?
biggest issue, the biggest issue is the people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The biggest issue, the issue, the people are the problem. You see,
Everywhere.
yeah, everywhere. But again, here it is a little bit because I will not go back much on governance. Like maybe we are. I hate it when I hear people say that we are poor because we have poor leaders.
Oh.
That is to me I don't agree with that statement. We are not poor because the president has stayed in power. No, 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 no. The president has nothing to do with my life. It has nothing to do. It is you as an individual to stand up and do something. Because when you read Article 1 of the 1995 Constitution of the Uganda, it says that the power belongs to the people. And if we are doing things with election, it is the power of the people they use to select a leader of their choice with their consciousness. And that's what has been done. So there is no need of blaming the president for our misery. No. And it is actually another problem we have here. People blame others for their issues. Pe- People don't have the answers to take their responsibilities. If you have messed up something, have the principles to do it yourself. Don't blame the other one for your failure. That
How do you see corruption here?
it is on another level. You see, when the NRM came to power was it 1886 when they officially came to be organized at the NRM, they had the principles that we are going to fight corruption. Actually, they based their program on a 10-point program, of which these were the aims and objectives. They talked to the people, and the people indeed welcomed His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni as the darling. Everyone loved the man because he was the principles, the strategy this man was coming in. He came in as a liberator. He came in discarding himself from any other kind of leadership that had existed.
He came after Amin and Obote,
Yes,
huh?
yes. So, and these were somehow terrible times. These leaders somehow not good. Actually, like I mean, not nice. So he came. People welcomed him as yes, this is the man we have been waiting for. And I don't blame him to a larger extent. The man has done his best. But now the problem are those ones who are surrounding him. He has nothing to do with the people, but the people who are surrounding him are the problem. People are massively corrupt. Massively corrupt. Look at this member of parliament. This is, I don't know, this is terrible. Millions of the people, but again, still, it runs back to the people who elect these people.
Absolutely.
Imagine you have elected you as a member of parliament. You are representing our constituency. We have given you what we desire to have. A term has ended. You have done nothing. You have not presented our views to the parliament. We are not going to blame the president for that, because these people have failed to speak. When they reach there, they sit down, eat, forget about their roots, which is very, very bad. So, to Ugandans who could be watching this, in the case, it is a matter of we standing up, using the power that we have as guaranteed in the Constitution. That is Article 1.
Based on moral principles.
If we don't have that, then we shall, I don't know, we shall continue suffering misery. Yeah, that's what I can speak.
Okay, Clarkson, thank you very much.
You're welcome.